This week, what the papers say is presented by Jane Thinn of the Daily Telegraph.
Good evening. There's rather less of the British press to report on this week. The Times' brand new Life and Times section, which had attracted many admiring reviews, died a premature death. And at the same time, The Guardian performed some drastic surgery on its broadsheet second section, which was reborn as a rather natty little tabloid. But changes in size are far from the most interesting changes sweeping Fleet Street just now. This week, Ian Aitken, The Guardian's retiring political pundit, hung up his notebook with a wry comment on the shifting sands of press loyalty.
It seems just possible that the state of the economy may be achieving at least a temporary reversal of the squalid sycophancy so much of the press has shown towards Thatcher and her successor.
What could he mean? This was The Sun 6 months ago on election day.
If Kinnock wins today, will the last person to leave Britain please turn out the lights?
And 30 pit closures later?
Dear Mr. Major, do you have a plan to get us out of this bloody mess? Where the hell is this once great country of ours heading? When are you going to do something about that? We're running out of time and patience.
And the Star?
We've all bloody well had enough. Handsome redundancy paid. What are the miners supposed to do with the cash? Start firms selling origami flowers to Japan or guiding grinning Germans round our rotting pits?
The Mail?
What we have now is a ghastly social and industrial disaster in dense smog. There has to be an inquest and it must be independent.
What about the Express? Here's Mrs. Thatcher's Rottweiler, Sir Bernard Ingham.
Left cold by cruel fuel fiasco. This government is losing its marbles.
Today's Telegraph?
Change your ways.
The handling of this issue by the government reflects a lack of sensitivity towards public opinion, which will cost Mr. Major dear, unless he and his colleagues can quickly change their ways.
Today's Express, calling ministers...
Demented parrots.
Thundered.
When are they going to be big enough to acknowledge their mistakes? When are they going to do the things, starting with a sharp and urgent cut in the cost of borrowing, that will give the country what it most needs? Hope!
Today's Times, on Major.
He looks weak, he is weak.
All in strong agreement with the Mirror.
You're not fit to govern! Tories blast Premier.
So cruel, so stupid.
John Major and his brain-dead cabinet haven't an idea between them of what to do.
This week, the most united attack on the government yet seen in this administration was unleashed. At first, it was the timing of the news that enraged most. The Mail delivered a bitter and uncharacteristic diatribe.
This government is beginning to sound woefully out of touch. John Major should remember the people from whence he came. People who, like himself as a young man, knew what it was to be unemployed.
The Express, only last week being privately sniped at by the Mail for its unflagging devotion to the government, finally joined in.
Massacre of the miners.
A full-page editorial calling on John Major to instigate a Daily Express programme of national recovery ended with a grave warning.
Voters will not easily forget that it was the Tories who took us through a second depression and, even worse, learned little from the experiences of 1980-82.
If the government hadn't learnt anything from the experiences of the 80s, the press has certainly moved on. The reaction to the loss of thousands of mining jobs is in stark contrast to that found during the miners' strike 8 years ago. Then all of the press was happy to accept a personal message from Ian McGregor, chairman of the National Coal Board, proclaiming,
"At great financial cost, miners have supported the strike for 14 weeks because your leaders have told you this, that the Coal Board is out to butcher the coal industry, that we plan to do away with 70,000 jobs, that we plan to close down around 86 pits, leaving only 100 working collieries. These things are absolutely untrue. I state that categorically and solemnly. Sincerely, Ian McGregor, Chairman."
During the miners' strike, it was the miners' leader who drew much of the press polemic. But this week's announcement only served to justify King Arthur's warnings, The Guardian thought.
Arthur Scargill has led the National Union of Mine Workers as president for 11 years, as if every day was Custer's last stand. But his forecasts about the industry have been accurate.
Whereas the loyal Tory press of the 1980s might have taken the government's lead and directed its anger against Scargill, now even one-time diehards like Richard Littlejohn in The Sun use him to point to an entirely different moral.
When a PM is less popular than Scargill, it's time to go.
When Michael Heseltine invoked Scargill as the bogeyman this week, there was some hesitation. The Daily Telegraph ventured,
The coal industry today is paying the bitter price of the Scargillite images of the 1980s. The subsidies went to the nuclear power industry instead, and the electricity consumer could be left picking up the bill for a botched privatisation.
That is the privatisation of the electricity industry. And here's another botch-up from Lord Cecil Parkinson in today's Times.
As Secretary of State for Energy in 1988, I announced that the coal industry would be privatised.
Cecil blames the miners for the present mess and claims...
During the winter of 1971 and early 1972, the NUM threatened to bring down Edward Heath's government. In February 1974, they succeeded.
I thought a general election decided that, not the NUM. But take heart, Messrs Major, Parkinson, Lamont and the whole cabinet, consulted or not. The great thing about the British press is you don't have to look far to find someone more vilified than you.
Soccer's Mr. Lamont.
Also known by the Mirror as...
Public enemy number one.
Or alternatively...
Bloody awful!
When the campaign against Graham Taylor, England football manager, began, Norman Lamont was still an economic whiz kid who had just the tonic this country needed. As a textbook example of what the tabloids can deliver when they really want to make a point, Taylor's treatment makes the debate about the British government look like a vicar's tea party. Appreciation of Mr. Taylor has been, to say the least, frank.
Why? He's got to go.
No flair!
No goals.
No spirit!
No hope.
As far as the tabloids are concerned, Norman Lamont might just as well take over the job of working out a sweeper system for the England football team, while Graham Taylor has a go at a policy for sterling outside the ERM. The disillusion set in this summer as the England team suffered a disappointing European Championship. After the goalless draw against Denmark, England had a disastrous loss against the Swedes, a move which led the Sun, somewhat bizarrely, to wonder what kind of vegetable Graham Taylor might resemble.
Sunspot verdict, turnip in Taylor. Go now!
It was an unusual line of abuse, but down on the Sun's sports desk, the vegetable theme grew like topsy.
Grow your own England manager.
Your number one son has got together with Mr. Fothergill Seeds to give away 200 packets of golden ball turnip seeds. Sow them, wait 3 months, and maybe a new £150,000 a year England boss appears.
But Sun readers didn't have to wait that long for something strange to develop. A defeat by Spain led to an immediate metamorphosis in the England manager.
Graham Taylor has been a turnip, now he's an onion. Taylor stuffed.
Spanish one.
Onions, nil.
For crying out loud, go! See page 46.
But by the time we reached page 46, the ever-versatile Mr. Taylor had already been transformed in anticipation of this week's game with Norway.
It's the world-beating Langerote stump for carrot, of course.
According to The Sun, the giant carrot is the nearest thing you get to the national vegetable of Norway. But by this time, the Star had caught on.
Taylor.
I wonder what the national vegetable of Norway is.
Somehow, something got lost in translation.
Answer.
It's a cabbage, Graham. The Norwegians pride themselves, according to Hotelier Dag Nybeck, on the quality of their cabbage, and they're ready to put England in a pickle at Wembley next month.
Chucking vegetable insults at people is an oblique game which only skilled readers of the English tabloids could really be expected to understand. To the rescue came Britain's own national symbol, Paul Gascoigne, speaking the kind of language not even the Norwegians could mistake.
The Lazio star was confronted by a Norwegian television crew and asked if he had a message for the people of Norway. Without realising the cameras were rolling, the Geordie joker blurted out,
Yes, F off.
With impressive speed, Norway fielded their own version of Gaza, Jaza Jakobsen, to take a free kick.
Hold kjeft!
And just in case Mirror readers didn't get it,
That means shut your gob, Gaza.
by Wednesday the tension was unbearable. What if England should win? God forbid any of the sports writers should be made to look silly. Mike Langley,
The voice of Mirror Sport.
decided to hedge his bets.
I find a campaign against Taylor almost as distressing as he does. It's wrong that a man should be caricatured and persecuted just for losing a few football matches.
Hear, hear. And Mr. Langley's verdict?
Taylor must go.
Wednesday night's 1-1 draw with Norway didn't really improve matters.
Sick as a papagyoye.
That's parrot in Norwegian, Taylor.
Meanwhile, those left cold by football have been tuning into the more serious debate from America. No, not Bush and Clinton, I'm talking about...
Madonna, the great debate.
Having been let down by the Booker Prize, which ended up as a Graham Taylor-style draw, the newspapers turned, with some relief, to a really big event in the literary world. Madonna's first opus, imaginatively entitled Sex. It's had about as many readers as the average Booker Prize novel, because sex is kept under lock and key in a New York office block. One person who has seen it is Martin Amis, the novelist, who was sent to do an interview with Madonna by The Observer.
A few days later, Madonna abruptly decided that, on the contrary, she didn't want to see me. The reason she seemed to be giving was this: I was too famous.
Bit of an occupational hazard, I suppose. Observer readers were obliged to make do with a book review. But fortunately, the paper, launching its revamped magazine last week, decided to spend £15,000 on 9 exclusive photographs from the book, including one representing the sexual act now well known to the British public as the toe job. But what about the over-famous novelist? Did the small but divinely formed Amos find the snaps pornography or art? Did they do anything for him? Quite frankly, it was hard to tell.
The polymorphous perverse, the infantile mishmash of what can arouse us, may now be unprecedentedly perverse, but it is no longer polymorphous. It has exact and fixable shape, in 2 dimensions anyway. It is made up of images.
No wonder Observer readers needed pictures. But for one paper, the polymorphous perverse was simply beyond the pale.
The obscene!
Said The Sun, which believes that bare female breasts should only be seen in a family newspaper.
Two-faced Observer editor Donald Trelford has paid £15,000 to reproduce a series of pornographic photographs of Madonna in his quality newspaper. Snooty Trelford once claimed The Sun was
softcore porn for adults.
And nothing but
boobs, bingo and ballyhoo.
Some of the 8 snaps used from Madonna's new book, Sex, are simply too explicit to reprint in a family paper such as The Sun.
Quite apart from being copyright protected. But tell us more.
They show the singer playing with herself, wearing just a skimpy singlet and black leather boots, swinging naked from a makeshift trapeze, groping a half-naked man against a tree, and being fondled by an elderly man.
And just for good measure, The Sun added a picture of just what an older man looks like caressing a young girl. Donald Trelford, the Observer editor, for it was he, failed to rise to the bait, as reported in the Sunday Times.
To be lectured by The Sun and the News of the World for publishing pornography is like being accused of headbutting by Vinnie Jones.
To the Observer, you see, the whole issue was simply one of freedom of information.
Madonna exposed. It may or may not be art.
Cynics will dismiss it as pornography. This is your chance to decide.
But then it rather shot down its own case.
Starting on page 27, we publish an exclusive selection of some of the more acceptable photographs.
But whatever is acceptable for Observer readers to see, is it art? Today called Brian Sewell to adjudicate.
The one where you see her bare bottom going over a wall might be an ad for Benson and Hedges.
Madonna's brief visit to London this week upped the stakes. The Mirror was cock-a-hoop.
Exclusive Madonna talks to Simon Bates,
who in turn talked to someone else.
Interview Anton Antonovich.
Anyway, whoever it was did the interview with America's hottest star didn't hesitate to probe fearlessly all the major issues, like the toe job.
It's wonderful. You should try it. The feet are very sensitive, as long as they're clean. All I avoid is ingrown toenails.
Over at The Sun, things might have seemed tricky for Piers Morgan, the showbiz specialist. But that was reckoning without the paper's own special technique of securing its exclusives.
Madonna talks to The Sun. I refused to go to her luxury suite at the Hyde Park Hotel on the grounds that Radio 1's Simon Bates was rumoured to be there. So instead, Madonna came to see me at The Sun's offices in Wapping. Relaxing by my desk, she admitted.
I'm so glad I came over to The Sun today. It's been chaos at the hotel, and the thought of having to spend an hour talking to overweight DJs again was too awful to contemplate.
As someone once said, there's lies, damn lies, and Sun exclusives. But what really counts is not Madonna lookalikes, but circulation. Was the Observer right to lash out on the Madonna snaps? Or was the Sunday Times more sensible to publish its exclusive cut out and keep guide to the Maastricht Treaty? Brian MacArthur in the Times did the sums and discovered...
The paper with the biggest sales increase on Sunday was The People, which offered a packet of crisps with every copy and started Pet People, an 8-page pullout about cats and dogs.
Eat your heart out, Madonna. Good night.
Well done, Jane.